Hi everyone, this is Jenny from Homestead Corner, and today I have a super simple DIY survival kit that I put together with this ammo can. There are tons and tons of survival kits out there that you can purchase that are pre-put together, but they are expensive. And a lot of the stuff that you can put in a survival kit, you have kicking around the house, and you could do it really inexpensively on your own. So I just put this little kit together. This is just an ammo can. These are like $5. Most places it's just a little plastic one. You can use the metal ones if you have one. We have a few of the metal ones. They're a little bit bigger, but they're not waterproof, and this is a waterproof one. And when you open it up, you can see the seal. There's a rubber gasket in here, and that makes this so the water can't get in. So that is perfect for this kind of survival kit. And it also has a little hole here in both pieces, so you could lock this together if you wanted to keep people out or whatever. I mean, if someone else got a hold of it and they really wanted to open it, you could definitely cut that. But if you just want to keep people, the kids out of it or whatever, you could put a little lock in there and that would work perfectly. So these are really inexpensive. I think this was $5. It was really cheap, and the metal ones are more expensive, and I like those for ammo, but they're not waterproof, and this is a lot more lightweight for grab and go type thing. And then I just have this filled with the stuff that I put in here, and this was all really inexpensive stuff. All of this stuff that was in this can is all stuff that was either kicking around the house or I picked up really inexpensive for $1 or $2. All stuff that you should have handy. And this all will fit right back into this little can. So the first thing I have is a couple of like contractor trash bags. You want the bigger black trash bags. You can use them as ground cover. You can use them as some sort of shelter. There are lots of things you can do with those trash bags, so they are really a great thing to have in there. And I also have like an emergency poncho for rain and an emergency blanket. Because this is something that you definitely want, an emergency blanket, so you can keep warm, keep that heat in, especially if you live in a colder climate and you have got to take off in an emergency with, just this little can. You're at least going to have something to get you started. The next thing I have in here is just a little notebook with some blank pages and a pencil, or a pen would work great, whatever you have, or whatever you like. I just happen to have those handy. And also a sewing kit. If you're out there and you gotta fix your backpack or a button on your jeans or anything like that, you're gonna be prepared with just a little teeny sewing kit. It's got some thread and needles and a few things in here just for an emergency. Those little emergencies. It can, it's something that you don't have to fix, but it would really make things much more comfortable if you have a few minutes to do it. And the next thing I have is just some fire starter stuff. A striker is always something handy to have in there, because this is going to last a heck of a lot longer than a lighter or matches or something like that. So a striker is great if you have one, but if you don't, a lighter or matches, something to start fire with. And I also have like waterproof matches in here, and I have a video I'll link up to how you can make your own waterproof matches. They're really easy to do. And I'll put a link up here somewhere. And I also have this little batch of, this is just some lint. You want some kind of tinder. If you, just to get a fire started real quick, lint is great for that. Cotton pads, whatever you have kicking around the house. If you don't have anything in there, and if you're lucky enough to find some birch bark is beautiful when you're out in the woods. It's free, it's all over the place on the trees. If you've got birch trees in the area you are, look for some of this. It works great for starting fires. I love it. The next thing I have is you're going to want to have something to purify water. I've got just a little pack of a few aqua tabs in here, or if you had some cloth and charcoal, you could make a little filter, or there are a bunch of different things you could do. They're a life straw. I think those are around $20. But they're really handy to have. They'll fit right in here, and you can just drink from a mud puddle, which is nice. It will purify the water. You definitely want something to clean the water with. And then I have just, these battery banks are so handy. This is super thin, it's lightweight, and it holds a charge forever. I haven't charged this thing in months and months and months, and it still is 90% battery just sitting in there. And this will charge 2 or 3 dead cell phones. I love this thing. So this is great to have in there if you have one. And also you're gonna want charging cords. Definitely at least the cord that's gonna plug into a USB, or even I like to keep the little wall plug. If you come across electricity while you're out there, you've got it. You can use either one that way. The next thing I have in here is just a little first aid kit. And this is just tiny. It's not a lot of stuff, but it'll get you through. There's some gauze pads in here, some antibiotic ointment, some bandages, alcohol wipes, a few different size bandages in there, and just handy to have this. This is really small. This came from the Dollar Tree, and I just added the antibacterial ointment in there. It didn't have that, but it had everything else in there. Band-aids, gauze pads, alcohol swabs, a couple of those. These are perfect. It's really small. It fits in there good, or anything that you have for your survival kit. The next thing I like to have is an ace bandage. Great to wrap things up. If you get a cut and it's bigger than your bandages, this will work as well. Just slap those band-aids on the best you can and cover it with this. Keep it clean. The next thing I have is just like some fever medicine. I've got some Advil here, aches and pains, whatever. If you have prescription medicine, you're going to want to keep some in here. It's always good to keep a little bit of extra in there. If you have something life-saving that you need, you definitely want to put it in there so you have it in case of that emergency. I also have some wet wipes, and I have them in this gallon bag. The gallon bag is great to also have in there because you can collect water in it, you can collect things in it, you can use it. But it also, while it's sitting in this container, these wipes, even though they're brand new and not open, they will dry out. So you want to give them a little extra protection. So while they're sitting in there, I like to keep them in a plastic bag, and this is just double duty. If I ever have to use this, I've got a gallon size bag here so I can collect stuff in it. The next thing I have is just some cord or rope or whatever. This is just some small paracord. Perfect if you got to set up anything, tie things, hold things together, anything like that. You definitely want to have some sort of cordage and rope in there. And then I have duct tape is another thing that is super handy in case of an emergency. This can help you in so many different ways. And if your duct tape does not fit in there because you have, you know, your stuff might be a little chunkier or bigger, you can take this and crush it flat. It does not hurt the duct tape at all. And this, you can squeeze it in. This is a whole roll of duct tape. You can just flatten it, or you could take some off and wrap it on a stick or a clothespin or something you have around the house. But I find that just crushing it like this, it still gives you all that duct tape. It's a big, huge roll, and you could, this really doesn't take up much space like that. So, which is handy. The next thing I have is you're going to want some kind of can opener or, you know, a screwdriver, something like that. These little stainless steel card things are perfect. This can opener works awesome. I love this. It works really well. I've used it a whole bunch of times, and they are really small and flat, super handy. Also, multi-tools. If you have one of these multi-tools, these are great. It's got screws and knives and saws and everything is in here. Fingernail file, you name it. There's like 38 things in a lot of these. So multi-tools are also wonderful to have. And keeping a knife in there, something sharp, something you're going to be able to cut with, whatever. Definitely, I like small, easy to hold on to. I like those kind of knives, and these are really inexpensive. You can pick these up really, really cheap. Another thing, if you're in a cold climate like I am, hot hands. If you get out there and it is freezing, you may have left and not have enough clothing or whatever. Hot hands are wonderful. And you just want to make sure this packaging doesn't get punctured at all, because the air is what activates this. If these are hard, you want to toss these out and grab another set of them to throw in there. So that's another thing that if you're in a cold climate, you're definitely going to want to make sure you have something like that in there. And let's see, and light. You're going to need some kind of light out there, whether it's a flashlight. I love these tactical flashlights. They're great. This is a USB chargeable one. I really like that, but it's kind of heavy, but it works really well. And I also, the other thing that I love, this is my favorite to have because it's hands-free. It's just a headlamp. These are like $1 at Walmart. I'm telling you, they're great. You can kind of angle it to where you want. So if you want it to go down your face, you're doing something in your lap, or when you're walking, I mean, they're great. They're hands-free. I love these. I use it all the time for chickens even. You go out and check on the chickens at night, I'm hands-free. Another thing you can do is glow sticks. Glow sticks are great. They don't give off too much light, but they give you just enough so you can see what you're doing. Also, this is a small LED light that works as well. It gives that glow stick effect. And the last thing that I have in here is some cash, just small bills. You don't want hundreds in there or anything. If you're out there in an emergency, if stuff really gets wild and you have to leave home and you've grabbed this kit, you've got a couple of bucks. I mean, it's not a lot, but it'll get you probably some water, or it might get you a meal or something like that. A little bit of gas, something. It could get you something. It's not a lot of money, but just a few dollars in cash is perfect for having in there. So, and I always recommend having small bills. So, you know, if I have to use this can, I'm going to pull this cash out and I'm going to put it in all different areas. So I can only have $1 if that's all I need, or I can only have $3, you know, in another pocket. You're not going to want to pull a wad of cash out so anyone knows how much money you have. You want to keep it split up. You might have $5 in your sock and $2 in your back pocket and $1 in the front pocket, and I find that to be the safest way to go. That way nobody knows how much you actually have on you. and small bills are great. And all of this is going to get you to where you need to go, hopefully, in case of an emergency. And it fits in this tiny little can, and these plastic cans are just so lightweight. This probably doesn't even weigh a pound when it's empty, and they're super handy. So look around the house, grab up your stuff, pack yourself a survival kit. You might need it. It's better to be prepared. Always be prepared. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.